Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Monday, November 18th, 2019, the Trump White House reversed a policy that had been in place for 41 years, helping protect the statehood of Palestine. And what I want to talk about in this video is why this happened on November 18th specifically, and also what's going on hours after in the early morning of November 19th, why Israel's issued this red alert, supposedly a threat from Hamas. I want people to understand how all of this stuff is being purposefully orchestrated and to understand what a false flag is, because it is a weapon against the people of this world that ignites a lot of wars that would otherwise never happen. So, November 18th is the 322nd day of the year, 322. This number became infamous to a lot of people in 2004 when Tim Russert asked George W. Bush and John Kerry, who were both running for President of the United States, if it was true that they were members of Yale Skull and Bones and what the big secret was with 322. And both of them admitted that they were members of the secret society that only allows 15 members per year, yet out of this small group, those were the front runners for president, the highest office in the land in the United States. Anyhow, Tim Russert, he would die not long after interviewing those men. His life cut premature. And when he was reported dead, they said he died at 223. 223, the reflection of 322. But Abrahamic religions 322, that's Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. The three major religions that are all based in the Old Testament of the Bible, in the land of Israel. So 322, it's this number that has everything to do with the spiritualities of the world. And I want you to think how a Skull and Bones member was in office when 9/11 happened and dancing Israelis were arrested in New Jersey, who went back to Israel and said that they were there to document the attack, meaning they had foreknowledge. I want you to think about how it was Ehud Barak, the leader of Israel, who told the U.S. on the day of 9/11 to declare a war on terrorism against Afghanistan and Iraq, which is what we did. And I just want you to think about how that day has helped further divide the people of the world through religion. And I want you to think about how Israel, very much at the heart of this matter. You had religious wars and the world wars, and out of that came Israel. In the U.S., they don't teach about the Balfour Declaration. In World War I, it was an agreement that brought the U.S. into the war to fight on behalf of the U.K. against Germany, even though the U.S. people supported Germany. And with that bribery of the Balfour Declaration, it was about delivering the Zionist nation of Israel. Zionist equals 112, just like Judaism. And the Balfour Declaration was written on November 2nd, 112. Anyway, the practice of letters and numbers is gematria. It comes from Jewish mysticism, Kabbalah. In Kabbalah's Book of Formation, it's stated that God created the world but with letters, numbers, and words. And this is how these people play God over our lives. So realize they're reversing a 41-year-old policy today on the 322nd day of the year, right? Skull and Bones 41. George H.W. Bush, number 41. A year ago, in August 2018, I said George H.W. Bush will not make it past the month of November. And he ended up dying on November 30th. 11 plus 30, 41. The same day Paul Walker died in history, mysteriously in a red Porsche, like the one he drove in the movie The Skulls about Skull and Bones. Paul Walker, George Herbert Walker Bush, November 30th. But Skull and Bones 41. Abrahamic religions 322, ancient mystery religions 322. That includes Kabbalah, gematria, the things that the elite use that the common people don't know about. And today's date numerology is also a date with a life lesson number of 41. Again, George H.W. Bush was number 41, member of Skull and Bones. His son George W. Bush, the Republican president to follow after him, also a member of Skull and Bones. So, just want to understand this piece first. And then the next thing is what happens hours later. Red alert in Israel. Now you've pissed off the Islamic population nearby. U.S. and Israel conspiring to take away the land that was promised. And if you go back and read the Balfour Declaration, here, let's just pull it up. Balfour Declaration. If you read this document, it says, well, here, I'll just read it. Let's find the actual document. Here it is. So November 2nd, 112, Zionist 112, Judaism 112. Here's Gematria. Oops. I'm spelling it wrong. That's what's wrong. There we go. I was like, what is going on? I couldn't type. Zionist 112 with the alphabetic order. A's 1, B's 2, C's 3, up to Z is 26. Judaism when you run the alphabetic order in verses 112. So the Balfour Declaration on November 2nd. Dear Lord Rothschild, I have much pleasure in conveying to you on behalf of His Majesty's government the following declaration of sympathy. How do I get rid of this thing? It's going to cover up the bottom of the... There we go. The following declaration of sympathy with Jewish Zionist aspirations, which has been submitted to and approved by the Cabinet. His Majesty's government view with favor the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people and will use their best endeavors to facilitate the achievement of this object, it being clearly understood that nothing shall be done which may prejudice the civil and religious rights of existing non-Jewish communities in Palestine, or the rights and political status enjoyed by Jews in any other country. I should be grateful if you would bring this declaration to the knowledge of the Zionist Federation. So again, this is really what World War II was all about, this continued agenda and plan. This is why in the U.S. we're not taught about World War I. Because they'd have to teach us that the U.S. people supported Germany, but then the government, through a series of propaganda that was run after this, and what that propaganda was telling the Christian nation, the U.S., that the leader of Germany was the Antichrist. And that's what was run in the papers, in the magazines, the radio, everywhere, that Germany's leader was the Antichrist, and that turned public opinion from supporting Germany to wanting to fight against it. And these things happened at the time of getting the U.S. people into World War I. And then after World War I, you had Germany destroyed, made to pay reparations. You had the Jewish boycott against Germany, which gave rise to the Nazi Party, also left out of the history books. The 1933 boycott of Germany by Jews. It was the Jewish boycott is what it was called. But all of this stuff's left out of the history. And, have the rights... have they not been prejudiced? It's just, it wasn't lived up to. It being clearly understood that nothing shall be done which may prejudice the civil and religious rights of existing non-Jewish communities in Palestine. Sorry, I'm tired too, it's late. I can't talk as well at 2 in the morning, but yeah, and just by the way, again, this knowledge, it allows you to see through so many things going on in this world, including the rigged world of sports. Again, another day of dominance in the world of sports, and good read on the Chiefs to win tonight's game on the 322nd day of the year. Skull and Bones 202. Andy Reid got his 202nd win as a coach. Keep in mind the 202nd minute of every day on the clock is 3:22, third hour, 22nd minute. And of course, Skull and Bones is also 41. Again, if you're new here, there's 4 base ciphers. They are the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. Remember in the film Enemy of the State, at 1 hour and 49 minutes, Will Smith looks at his watch and the time's 3:22. That movie released on November 18th, the 322nd day of the year. 1 hour, 49 minutes in. H.W., Skull and Bones Man. Number 41, 41st president, dead on 11/30, 11 plus 30, 41. Skull and Bones, 202, 200 and second minute of the day is 3:22. And then 76, that connects to secret society. Symbol, it is a symbol, this number in itself. 322, skull and bones. 1776, more. But with that said, something else that we predicted by understanding this knowledge and how sports and news work together is we saw that the World Series would be the Astros and the Nationals before the postseason began, because all season we documented how HW's death was synced up with the Rangers and Astros, two teams he was connected to in his life, and how the Nationals eventually fit into that riddle. And through understanding this knowledge, we saw how the Nationals would beat the Astros in the World Series. We talked about it all along the way, all the different skull and bones riddles going on. And again, if you don't follow on Patreon, maybe you're just like, yeah, right, well, again, there's a reason that I have more people on my Patreon than people who have millions of YouTube subscribers. It's because what we do is real, and anyone who follows knows that. But, the entire world of sports and news, it's all interconnected. Skull and Bones is very much at the heart of this. And an easy way to think about that is think about how the Bush Skull and Bones family ran the Texas Rangers. You don't think there's other members of Skull and Bones that you don't know about who haven't been, the President of the United States, but run news networks and corporations and companies and other sports teams? Just realize all this stuff goes on all around the world. And case in point, here's a minor leaguer for the Minnesota Twins. And the Minnesota Twins are the old Washington Senators team, the last team to represent the championship in Washington before the Nationals this year, the new team there in that city. But minor league player for that team drops dead at age 23 on this date. He was playing for the Auckland Tuatara in New Zealand. And look at it, 149-41 skull and bones, dead on November 18th, the 322nd day of the year. His name was Costello. Ryan Costello. Costello 115. It was just the 115th World Series. You had the death of two umpires during the World Series, one 52 years old, the other 63 years old. 52 plus 63, 115. Costello killing Masonic, all 115, all 43. Skull and Bones is out at Yale, 43. November 18th, leaves 43 days left in the year. Again, this young man, Costello, dead shortly after the World Series. Dead 19 days after the World Series, to be exact. Playing for the Tuatara. Look at the 82-107 like Washington Nationals. Dead 19 days after the World Series. In New Zealand, 105. Nationals, 105. The Nationals beat the Astros by winning their 105th game of the season. So, again, recognize the reach of this knowledge. As simple as ABC 1, 2, 3. All this stuff is encoded in front of us every single day. The rigged sports games, the ritual murders, the needless instigating and provoking of war and religious tensions. By the way, these rockets, this Iron Dome intercept, early November 19th, the 19th day of the 11th month. Remember, chaos equals 19, and the Masonic agenda is order out of chaos. Israel is very much a Masonic nation. Modern Freemasonry comes out of the UK. The UK has everything to do with the US, the Israel, Australia, New Zealand, many other places in this world. Again, we never really got free on July 4th. In Gematria, holiday, Independence Day, English, Gematria, Masonic, occult, Jewish, holiday, free. All of those things sum to 74. 74, like 7-4, July 4th. London equals 74. Again, modern Freemasonry began in 1717. 59 years later was 1776. Skull and Bones. Freemasonry equals 59. 59 is the 17th prime. Modern Masonry begins in 1717. 59 years later, 1776. July 4th. American football, credited to the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. Mason Rudolph for the Steelers. Mason equals 17. He leads the Steelers to their record 17th straight win at home on Monday Night Football. His birthday is July 17th. 17, the 7th prime number. Capital G, the 7th letter, right in the middle of the Masonic compass. So, their motto is order out of chaos. And again, that's where false flags come in. Create the problem, provide the solution. Blow up 2 buildings in Manhattan. Call the site Ground Zero in front of the sleeping populace who can't connect Manhattan Project, Ground Zero, because all those things go together. The only definition for Ground Zero was something that came out of the Manhattan Project. It was the place above or below ground where a nuclear or atomic bomb exploded. Ground Zero, out of the Manhattan Project. The World Trade Center is turned to dust in Manhattan on 9/11, a national emergency on 911, blamed on a boogeyman in a cave. That's called a false flag. From 1968, when World Trade Center construction went down, to 911 being made the national emergency dialing code, to George W. Bush graduating from Yale and Skull and Bones, all in 1968, to 2001 was 33 years later. False flag equals 33, Masonry 33, secrecy 33, order 33, federal 33, Bonesman 33. That's the alumni of Skull and Bones. Bonesmith, they call themselves. So, false flags, they happen all the time. Create the problem, provide the solution. Create the problem, take away rights, scare the people. Tell them there's a boogeyman out there. We need more taxes and less rights. And then when people start to catch on that there is no boogeyman, then they create new problems. Adam Lanza's. Give up your rights, more taxes. You don't need guns anymore. Big Brother's got you. Rock you back to sleep. So anyway, hopefully I'm making sense. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. But I just wanted to do this before I pass out for a few hours. And just in case, you just never know. It is the year 2019. It's the 11th month. You just never know when you might wake up and your YouTube channel's down again. So get the word out while you still can. You know what I mean? For people that are new here, I'm on my 20th channel. We would have had hundreds of thousands of subscribers by now if we hadn't been deleted 20 times. So, it's a damn shame. Because the world needs to know about this knowledge, and Google just does not want it to be out there. By the way, there's chaos taking place in Israel right now. Mike Pompeo, who announced that we were taking back this 41-year policy, his birthday is December 30th. From the chaos to his upcoming birthday is 41 days. Go figure, huh? From the announcement to his birthday was a day earlier, so it would be 42 days later. Freemason 42. Math 42. Knowledge 42. We'll leave it there, true seeker. Till next time.